at a multiple choice paper, CSEC Maths paper. As you all can see, it's May, June 2017, paper 1. And okay, so we are going to start off with question 1, and we are seeing here -3 squared add -2 squared. Immediately could understand that -3 squared will be -3 by -3. And as you would know, minus by minus is a plus. So it will be 3 by 3 is 9, and it will be positive 9. While -2 squared will be -2 by -2. Again, minus by a minus is a plus, and 2 by 2 is 4. So you get positive 4. Now, because you're adding them, we just simply add the 9 and the 4 together, and you will get 13. So C is the answer here. Going down to number 2, they're asking one number when added to 1 1/3 will give 2. And I need people to understand this. When they propose a question like that, they're really asking for essentially what extra does 2 have as compared to 1 1/3? Or what extra or excess do I need to add on to 1 1/3 to make it 2? So obviously to understand that, you need to subtract, right? So it'll be 2 minus 1 1/3. Now, you have many ways to solve this. I'm just going to look at one in this session here, which is the traditional approach, where 1 1/3, I could convert this into an improper fraction, where I will say 1 by 3 is 3, and 3 add 1 would be 4 over 3. So I convert the 1 1/3 to an improper fraction. 1 by 3 is 3, and 3 add 1 will give you 4 and 3. Now, why did I choose this approach? Well, essentially, 2 minus 4/3 is nothing new to anyone. I believe that most people would have experienced going through questions like this. But because multiple choice, you know, you're not allowed calculators, using this approach, there's a little trick with it. I will say here that instead of just getting LCM as we normally would, I will tell people convert the 2 in terms of thirds, and you will see why in a moment. So if I have 2 whole numbers, how much thirds will make 2 whole numbers? We know a third, 3 of it will make a whole. So if I have a cake and you cut it in 3 parts, each part represents a third of the cake, right? 3 of those slices will make the entire cake. If I have 2 cakes, it'll be 3 slices plus 3 slices will give you 6 slices, where each slice represents a third of the cake. So 2 cakes will have what? 6 slices, 3 each. So that will come essentially like 6 on 3. So it's 6 on 3 minus 4 on 3. And as a result of that, we can just subtract the numbers on top. So 6 minus 4 will be what? 2. And that goes over the common denominator of 3. And that's because since the denominators are the same, you just subtract the numerators. 6 minus 4 give you 2. So it is 2 over 3. That's B. Number 3, Anne and Betty shared a sum of money in the ratio 2 to 3. If Anne received $60 less than Betty, what was the total amount of money shared? Now, immediately we can understand that the difference in monies between Anne and Betty is $60. Now, why is that important to us? Well, the difference in shares between Anne and Betty is 1, because 3 minus 2 will give me 1 share. So if the difference in shares is 1 and the difference in monies is 60, I could immediately compare and say 1 share is $60. If 1 share is $60 and they're asking down here for the total amount of money, I can work that out very easily. How? Well, the total amount of shares will be 2 add 3, which is 5, And if each share is $60, then the total amount of shares would be 5 by 60 to give you $300. So if each share is $60 and it's 5 shares in all, I'm just repeating, 5 by 60 will give you $300. That's D as in dog. Number 4, we have 235 multiplied by 48.7, and that's equal to 11,444.5. Then what is 23.5 by 0.487? Well, we can see here that if you have 235 and you're getting this, you have to move the point one place to your left. In case you're wondering, what do we mean by move the point one place to your left? Well, at the end of the 235, we can imagine there's a decimal point. With all whole numbers, there's a decimal point at the end. We just don't see it, but it's assumed to be there. So if I move the point one place to my left, I will get the 23.5. With the 48.7, I need to move that 2 places to my left, and I'll get 0.487. So in all, I am moving my point 3 places to my left. 2 here and 1 here will give me a total of 3 places. So this answer, I'm moving this point 3 places to my left, and I'll get 11.4445. All right, that's A. And you can see the note for it is on the side here. Number 5. A test was marked out of 80. A boy scored 60% of the marks on a test. How many marks did he score? Well, we just simply find 60% of 80. That would be 60 over 100 by 80. And you all can see how I cross a 0 top and bottom here, and then cross another 0 with this 0 with the 60. So essentially all I mean with is 6 by 8 on top, which will give you 48. And that's B as in bat. All right, 6 by 8 is 48. You get B there. Number 6, a very tricky question, I must say, but let's take our time with it. If 30% of a number is 45, now this box is blocking it, but essentially it's talking about 4/5. What is 4/5 of the number? All right. So what is 4/5 of the number? Now again, 30% of some unknown number, let's call it y, is 45. What is 4/5 of the number? So let's find the number, which is y, and then we get 4/5 of that number. So it'll be 30% of y, which is the number, will give me 45. Now 30% is 30 over 100 by y will give me 45. How is that going to help us here? Well, with algebra, you know, we could carry the fraction across, and we all know the opposite of multiply is what? Divide. So I'm going to divide 45 by 30 over 100. And, you know, when you divide by a fraction, and we learned this even in primary school, if you divide by a fraction, you flip and multiply. So it comes like 45 by what? 100 over 30. And we cross out a 0 top and bottom, right? What do you mean with 10 over 3? 450 is when you multiply 45 by 10. That's one way of doing it. So I could get 45 by 10 is 450. I want to divide by 3. I get 150. Now, another way could be where I just cross out 3 into 3, 1, and 3 into 45 is what? 15, right? And my handwriting is so horrible. But 15 by 10 will give me what? 150 there. That's another way of doing it. Numerous ways in maths to get an answer. That's why I love maths so much. And then they ask for 4/5 of the number. Now we got the number as 150. So we're gonna find out 4/5 of it. And maybe I should have put in an arrow there to show that is what we're using. So you find it 4/5 of 150 and simply put 5 into 5, 1, 5 into 15, what? 3 with the 0, that's 30. And then 30 by 4 give you 120. So that's B as in bat is your answer there. All right, B as in bat. Number 7, what's the value of the digit 2 in the number 48.621? Well, the value of digit 2 will be 200. This 2 represents 200s because we all know the columns. You have tens column and then hundreds column. So this will be 2 over 100. Number 8, highest common factor. 8 here at 12, 15, and 60. You have all kind of ways of doing this. One way that I realize students today they just love to put the multiples down. You know, so in a case like this, what are the multiples? I mean, not multiples, factors, I mean. What are the factors of 12? What could go into 12 exactly? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12, right? All those could go into 12. What are the factors of 15? 1, 3, 5, 15. 60 is a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. 15 by 4 is 60. 5 could go into 60 12 times. 6 and 60 10 times. 10 into 66 times. It goes on. We immediately could see that the highest number that is common is 3. It's 3. So your HCF is 3. And that B as in bat. The next term in the sequence 1, 6, 13, 22, 33 is, well, firstly, the difference in the numbers 1 to 6 is 5. The difference between 6 and 13 is 7. Difference between 13 and 22 is 11. Actually, 9, I mean, sorry, 9. Kind of mix it there. The difference between 22 and 33 is 11. So you can see the differences are going in twos, you know, 5, 7, 9, 11. So the next difference will be what? If you're going in twos, what's 2 added on to 11? You get 13. And you just add 13 back to 33 and you get 46. Let's see. Number 10, by distributive law, 49 by 17 add 49 by 3 is what? So you could see here 49 is common. You pull that out. And what do you mean with 17 add 3? And the 17 add 3 is what, 20? So you come like 49 by 20. That's D as in dog. So you can see we're done with the first 10. So we're going fairly smooth. Now that we're done with number theory and computation, we are getting into set theory. You can see some of these questions are set theory. And then we're going into consumer arithmetic afterwards. All right, so to see here in number 11, if P is 2, 3, 5, 7, Q is 2, 3, 6, S is 2, 4, 5, what is P intersect Q intersect S? The intersection means what is common. Immediately you can see 2 is common to all of them. So yeah, 2 is the answer, that's E. Item 12 refers to the following Venn diagram. You all could see sets P and Q. And in the Venn diagram, the shaded area represents what? Well, you could see here, everything here is shaded around P. Everywhere is shaded but P, right? So essentially, this shaded region will represent the complement of P, which is this. Complement of P would represent all the members that do not belong to P, which is shown in the shaded region. Those are all the members that do not belong to P. That's A. Number 13, in a class of 32 students, 17 study music and 20 study art. What is the least number of students who study both music and art? A very tricky question. And this is a question that most students, they could maybe figure it out or guess their way through, but there is obviously a systematic way of dealing with this. And, in the syllabus, we would learn of a formula that is similar to this. I want to say similar, it might be different lettering. And I mean, instead of M and A, it might be A and B, for example, but it's the same format where we are immediately saying M represents students who study music, and you all could guess A represents students who study art. So I would say N of M, which means the number of members or number of students who study music, plus N of A, number of students who study art, minus N of M intersect E. This will be the number of students who study both music and art, which we actually do not know, is equal to N of M union E. The union would be the entire class, right? That is everybody found in the class. So that's your members or your students that belong to music and your students who belong to art class all combined. And that would be your class of 32. So N of M would be 17 plus N of E would be 20 minus the number of students who study both music and art, which we do not know. We will call that X. So minus X would equal to the class of 32. So from here, it's just algebra. 17 at 20 is 32. Carry the minus X on the right side, it becomes positive X. Carry the 32 on your left side, it becomes minus 32. So 37 minus 32 will give you 5. So 5 students actually studied both music and art. Very interesting question. And for those who listen to this recording, something you definitely should make note of. So B is the answer. 14, and refers to the following Venn diagram. Again, you can see a universal set with sets P and Q, and the shaded region is the area of intersection between P and Q. P represent factors of 6, Q represent factors of 4, and shaded region is what? Now, factors of 6 are the numbers that could go into 6, and what will that be? It'll be 1, 2, 3, and 6. Factors of 4, what will that be? What are the numbers that could go into 4? 1, 2, 6. All right? 1, 2, and 6. So the region of intersection will be the region that is common. And what is common to both of them? 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is common to both. That's B. So we're done with set theory, students, and we going into consumer arithmetic section. A dress which costs $180 is being sold at a discount of 10%. The amount of the discount is, we just put 10 over 100 by 180, and we cross out zeros, top and bottom here, and you made with $18. A shortcut would be, when you're finding 10%, to just drop the zero to get your 18. Now, they did not ask for the price of the dress after discount. They asked just for the discount. And that's $18. That's something students have to be mindful of. All right. 16. Value of a plot of land is 18,000. I don't know where you're getting that today, but no problem. And land tax is charged at a rate of 70 cents per $100 value. In other words, every $100 of the land value, the person who buys the land is charged 70 cents on it, which is pretty good. What is the total amount of tax? Well, one way of doing it is converting the $100 into cents and converting this into cents, and we work it through, where $0.7 is 70 cents and $100 is 10,000 cents, because why? 100 cents make $1, so $100 would be 100 by 100 to get 10,000 cents. And essentially what we're doing, we put 70 cents, that's this, over $100 in cents, which is 100,000. I mean 10,000. What's wrong with me? 10,000 cents. And you multiply that by 18,000. So I could cross 3 zeros here with 3 zeros here, and then I cross this zero with this. And it's just 7 by 18 to give you $126, which is like pocket change, right? This is really good. So, you know, if you forget to pay your land tax, hey, that's something that you could just have on you. No worries with that. And it's pretty realistic too. So B is the answer. 17. At the end of any year, a car is worth 5% less than what it was worth at the beginning of the year. That's so true. If a car is worth $9,500 in December 2016, what's its value in Jan 2016? So at the beginning of the year, the car would have costed more that's compared at the end of that year. So in other words, if it costs $9,500 in the end of the year, at the beginning of that same year would have been more. Now remember, we did establish that the car drops in value by 5% every year. So what we're going to do here, one method is where we use ratio and proportion. And what I mean by that is this. Anything in life, students, I want you to keep this in mind, you always start off with 100%. You always start off with 100%. So the initial value of the car at the beginning of the year, which we don't know, we'll call it Y, we can equate it to 100%. How is that helpful? Well, at the end of that year, it dropped by 5%. What's 5% from 100? 95%. And what's the value of the car? 9,500. So what we do is that we cross multiply, and I could say Y by 95% is equal to 100% by 9,500, because direct proportion. And what do we do? Carry the 95% across. Opposite of multiply is what? Divide. Divide. So it will be 100 by 9,500, which is 950,000. In other words, just add the 2 zeros at the end. And then you divide by the 95% below. Cross out the 95s, you remain with what? 10,000. All right. Got 95 into 95, 1. 95 into this, we made with 1. So it's 1 on what? 4 zeros, that's 10,000. Dollars. That is B. Number 18. Man bought a mobile phone for $800 and sold it for $1,000. What was his profit as a percentage of the cost price? Well, profit would be selling price minus cost price, and that would be 1,000 minus 800 to give you $200. And then the profit percentage would be what? Profit over cost price by 100%. In other words, it would be $200 over your cost price of what? $800 by 100%. Cross out your 2 zeros, top and bottom. And we could say 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 8, 4, 4 into 4, 1, 4 into 100 is what? 25%. Yeah, 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 8, 4, 4 into 4, 1, 4 into 100, 25%. And that would be D as in dog. Man's annual salary is 45,000. His tax-free allowances total 13,000. He pays tax of 35% on his taxable income. Wow. The tax payable is a lot of terms in here. First thing I want to explain is that your tax-free allowances are basically, as you would say, monies that the government don't touch because it is directed towards a certain area, whether if it's children allowance, whether it's house allowance, traveling allowance, whatever it may be, that the government don't touch it. I don't think, right, maybe I should retract the sentence with traveling allowance, but I think in main side with government is either house, children, it could be even if you do a degree, sometimes you get allowance with that for that particular year, or a master's. These things exist. And what going on is I had to apply for it though. But you know, you get a tax break in the sense of the government will not tax you if you did those things. So you get some allowances, right? So a portion of your monies will not be taxed at all. So in this case, his tax-free allowance was 13,000. So what will be his taxable income? His taxable income will be the total annual salary minus your tax-free allowance. So it'd be 45,000 minus the 13,000 to give you 32,000. And then from there, now you find 35% of that income. That's a taxable income. So it's 35 over 100 by 32,000. And you cross out 2 zeros, sorry. Let me do that again. You could cross out 2 zeros with 2 zeros here. And, you know, you just have 35 by 320. And working that out, you get 11,200. Really interesting question. So there's your tax payable or your amount of tax. Very interesting question. For those listening to this recording, should really actually make note of this. Number 20. Simple interest on a loan is 6,000 for 3 years with $900. What was the rate of interest per annum? Now, let's be real. Everybody could quote simple interest formula, but what they're asking for is rate of interest. Formula where rate of interest is the subject of the formula is simple interest by 100 over principal by time. So it would be 900, which is a simple interest, by 100 over your principal, which is 6,000 by 3 years. So Crossing out zeros is something I'm showing here, but I could just do it back. Cross out 2 zeros here with 2 zeros and maybe another 0 with 1 here, and remain with 9 by 10 is 90. 90 over 6 by 3 is 18. So you remain with 90 over 18 and you will get 5%. Yeah. So this is the case that we have where students may learn the simple interest formula, but you do not know how to make any of the variables the subject of the formula. I did provide it here. If they ask for principal, this is the formula. If they ask for time, this is the formula. And obviously the formula for rate here. All of this is in reference to your simple interest formula. And all of them start with simple interest by 100 on top. So yes, we got C as the answer, but any one of these could be asked in the exam. They can ask for principal or time. So this is another question, students, you all should make note of. Okay? Please make note of it. So we've done 20 questions. Hey, we already done a third of the paper. And now we are moving onwards to 21. Television set cost $350 cash. When bought on hire purchase, the deposit of $35 is required, followed by 12 monthly payments of $30 each. How much is saved by paying cash? First thing we need to do is calculate the total hire purchase price. Formula you can see here is deposit plus your monthly installments by number of months. Your monthly installment we know is 30. So it's 30 by 12. And your deposit was given as 35. So 30 by 12 is 360, and 360 add 35 is $395. That's your hire purchase price, your HP for short. Sometimes they say hire purchase plan, right? But it's your hire purchase price. And how much money you would have saved if you bought it cash? You just subtract the 350, which is the television set in cash, from your 395, and you get $45. Easy question, pretty straightforward. So D as in dog. 22, coming to the end of consumer arithmetic. How much does a customer pay for an article marked $50 if a sales tax of 6% is charged? Very easy. Find 6% of 50. That is 6 over 100 by 50. Cross out a 0 top and bottom. And we can see where I could even add this in, which I didn't show. 5 into 5, 1. 5 into 10, 2. 2 into 2, 1. And 2 into 6 is what? $3, yeah? So $3 is your tax. And you know, we add that to the 50 to get what? $53. So total cost of the item is $53. $53, that's C. So now that we're done with consumer arithmetic, we're moving and switching gears into algebra, a topic, a section that gives students a lot of trouble. And that is across the board, right? Nationwide, region-wide. So we're gonna really lock in here. And I hope you all are keeping up. Thumbs up. We are trying and we are getting through. Okay. So let's keep positive. So 23 question. 7 times the product of two numbers, A and B, may be written as. Now, this is a worded statement. I would say it like that. We want to put this into algebraic form. 7 times product. Product means multiply. Product of A and B would be AB. A by B is AB. And 7 times that would be 7AB. Just saying. All right. So product of A and B is AB. And 7 times that would be 7AB. If x is an integer that satisfies the inequality 4 less than 2x, which is less than or equal to 6, then what? Obviously, you want to make x the subject. All we have to do is divide each term by 2 to get rid of the 2 in front of the x. We divide every term by 2. 2 into 4 is 2. And 2 into 6 is 3. Very straightforward. You can see the note here. Divide every term by 2. And you get this. 2 less than x. And x is less than or equal to 3, right? Yeah. So that's A. $25. Coefficient of x in the expansion of x plus 3 by x minus 1. Let me look at that here. So we're going to expand this out to get a quadratic expression. X by x is x squared. X by minus 1 is minus x. 3 by x is 3x, well, plus 3x. And then 3 by minus 1 is minus 3. Because why? Plus by a minus is a minus, right? And 3 by 1 is 3. But we're not done. We had to simplify. Bring down the x squared. Bring down the minus 3. What about minus x add 3x? That come like minus 1 add 3. We know when you add in or subtracting, if the signs are different, you subtract the two numbers. So that'll be 3 minus 1 is 2. And you put the sign of the larger number, which is the plus sign in front. So it'll be x squared plus 2x minus 3. I'll just repeat that. You subtract the two numbers. 3 minus 1 is 2. And you put the sign of the larger number, which is the plus sign in front. So it becomes plus 2x. All right. So they ask for the coefficient of x. That's the value in front of x. That'll be 2. So that's C. 26. 3x squared by 2x to the power 3 is what? Well, 3 by 2 is 6. And then the powers, you add them on top. As you know, when you're multiplying, you add the powers. So 2 add 3 is 5. So 3 by 2 is 6. And when you're adding the powers on top, because you're multiplying, you add the powers or indices. 2 add 3 is 5. So it's 6x to the power 5. That's B as in bat. 27. If P is equal to m cubed over 2 minus m, when m is minus 2, what's the value of P? All we need to do is substitute minus 2 into this entire equation, and we will work out P, right? So let's look at it here. So m cubed will be what? Minus 2 cubed divided by 2 minus 2. Minus 2 cubed is what? Minus 2 by minus 2 by minus 2. 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8. And then minus by a minus by a minus will give me what? Well, minus by a minus is a plus. And a plus by the third minus, because it's 3 of them, would give you back a minus. All right, and you know what? I could just show it here quickly. Minus 2 by minus 2 by minus 2. Again, I would say 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8. Minus by minus is a plus, and plus by the third minus will give back a minus. We're down here, 2 minus minus 2. Minus by minus is a plus. 2 add 2 is 4. So you get 4. So minus 8 divided by 4 will be what? 4 into 8 is 2 with your minus sign to give you minus 2. That's A. A is the answer there. 28. If A asterisk B And we could just say A operation B, because I don't know what it is. It's A over B minus 1 was 7 operation 28. And again, you do need to understand this operation. You need to understand the formula. So by comparison, A come like 7 and B come like 28. So 7 asterisk 28 will be what? It will be, following A on B, it will be 7 over 28 minus 1. 7 into 7, 1. And 7 into 28 is what? 4. So you get a quarter. 1 on 4 is a quarter minus 1. A quarter minus 1 will give you a minus 3/4. All right. Again, if the signs are different, again, the sign in front of a quarter come like positive. If the signs are different, you subtract the two numbers. 1 minus a quarter give you 3/4. And you put the sign of the larger number in front. The sign of the larger number is minus. So you get minus 3/4. So that's E. 29. 5 open bracket, 2x minus 1 close bracket is 35. What is x? Well, you can see it here. We expand out the brackets. So we could say 5 by 2x is what? 10x minus 5 by 1 is 5 equal to 35. And then we carry minus 5 across, because all the numbers on one side, preferably the right side. And then minus 5 when it go across, we know it when it goes across an equal sign, the operation changes to the opposite. The sign changes to the opposite. Opposite of minus is plus. So 35 add 5 will give me what? 40. So 10x is 40. And then I could divide that 40 by 10 to give me 4. In case you're wondering why divide, well, 10x come like 10 by x. I'll say that again. 10x come like 10 by x, and the opposite of multiply is divide. So 40 over 10 is 4. D as in dog. 30. John has X marbles and Max has twice as many marbles as John. Max gives John 5 of his marbles. How many marbles does John now have? Well, Max gives John 5 marbles. So John will now have X plus 5, okay? But initially John had X and if 5 given to him from Max, because Max have more, Max say, hold on to 5, John will now have X plus 5. So we done 30 questions. Hey, we reached halfway through the paper. So we're doing well. We're doing well. So we're going on to our last algebraic question in this paper. And they're saying here in 31, when 8 is subtracted from a certain number and the result is multiplied by 3, the answer is 21. What is the original number? So let's let the number be y, right? So 8 is subtracted from a number. So you say 8 subtracted from y. In other words, y minus 8. And then they say the result is multiplied by 3. You all can see the y minus 8. That whole thing in brackets is multiplied by 3. And what the answer is? 21. So this whole thing is giving me what? 21. All right, that whole thing is giving me 21. And as a result of that, I could now work out y, because they're asking for y. So I'm going to divide 21 by 3, because why? 3 is multiplied to y minus 8. I could get rid of that 3 one time and divide the 21 by 3, because opposite multiplies divide. So carrying the 3 across, it will be 21 divided by 3, which will give me 7. And then y minus 8 is 7, right? What do I do there? I carry the minus 8 across, and obviously a minus is add. So it'll be 7, add 8, and that will give me 15. So you can see here, y is 15, D as in dog. So we are done with algebra, and we are moving into geometry, right? That is another section in the syllabus. Okay, and yeah, we going, right? We're going. So number 32. How many kilograms are there in 1 ton? Well, for knowledge sake, 1,000 kilograms will make 1 ton. Need to learn that, class. So C is the answer, 1,000 kg, 1 ton. So volume in cm cube of a cube of edge 3 cm is, well, volume of a cube is side by side by side, because all sides are equal, and that'll be 3 by 3 by 3, 3 3s are 9, 9 3s are 27 cm cube. So yeah, 27, C. You see, a car travels 80 kilometers in 2.5 hours. What's the speed in kilometers per hour? Speed, formula. Speed sometimes is placed in with geometry. Speed is distance over time, change in distance over change in time. This delta or triangle looking symbol mean change in distance over change in time. And that'll be 80 divided by your time. Now, 2.5 hours, if we make it improper, 2 2s are 4, add 1 will be 5 over 2. So I'm dividing 80 by 5 on 2. And the thing is, when you divide by a fraction, you flip and multiply. So it'll be 80 by 2 on 5. You flip the 5 on 2, and you get 2 on 5. And we multiply, right? So let me work that out. Like I say, 5 into 5, 1. 5 into 8 is what? 5 into 8 is 1, remainder 3, which will give me 30. And 5 into the 30 is what? 6. So that's 16. And 16 by 2 is what? 32 kilometers per hour. Okay? 5 into 5, 1. 5 into 80 was 16. 16 by 2 is 32 kilometers per hour. B as in bat. 35. The item 35 refers to the following figure, which shows a triangle resting on a square. All right. Triangle on a square. Height is 4 cm. Look like each side of the square is 5 cm. You can see I put it in for the base. So the length on one side of the square is 5 cm. Height of the triangle is 4 cm. What's the total area? Now, total area would be the area of the triangle plus the area of the square, and we'll get our answer. So let's first find the area of a triangle. Height by base over 2. Your height is 4, and your base obviously will be 5, because resting on the square, and each side of the square is 5. So it's 4 by 5 over 2. That comes like 20 over 2, which is 10 cm squared. And then you have the square, area of your square would be what? Area of the square is side by side. That'll be 5 by 5, will give you 25 cm squared. And when you add the two of them, your total area will be 10 at 25, which is 35 cm squared. That's E as the answer there. 10 at 25 is 35. 36. Very interesting question. Area of a rectangle is 53.6 cm squared. If the length is multiplied by 4 and the width is halved, the area would then be what? Well, we know area of rectangle is length by breadth, and that's 53.6. And your new area is what? You can see the length is multiplied by 4. So that instead of L, it'll be 4L. It's 4 times. And the width is halved. So instead of B, it will now be a half by B. Now, how is that going to help us? Well, I'll show you. 4 by a half, or a half of 4 is 2. And you remain with L by B. I hope you all understand that. And what is L by B? L by B is what? 53.6, right? You see that from on top here. L by B is 53.6. So 2L by B will be 2 by 53.6. And that'll give you 107.2 cm squared. Okay? 107.2 cm squared. That is the area of that new rectangle. Use a little algebra there. And C is the answer there. 37. A man leaves home at 22:15 hours, reaches destination at 04 hours on the following day at the same time zone. How many hours did the journey take? Now, I want to say here, army time, military time, what you may want to call it, right? That is what it's doing here. 22:15. How do we count it? Well, after 12 noon, instead of saying 1 p.m., you'll say 1300, right? Go after 12 is 13, right? So you say 1300 hours. 2 o'clock will be 1400. 3 o'clock would be 1500, and you're going on. And I want to say 22 would represent 10 p.m. So 22:15 will really be 10:15 in the night. And he reaches destination 04. 04 is really 4 a.m. because after 12 a.m. you have 1 a.m., right? So 04 will be 4 a.m. So he left 10:15 to reach 4 a.m. Now let me imagine this. If it was just 10 p.m. and he reached 4 a.m., 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. would be 6 hours, yeah? From 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. is 6 hours, and you subtract 15 minutes, which come like a quarter of an hour. If you subtract quarter of an hour from 6, you'll get 5 3/4, right? If you subtract 15 minutes from 6 hours, you'll get 5 hours and 45 minutes, if you want to look at it like that. And 45 minutes come like 3/4 of an hour, right? 45 over 60 is 3/4. So 5 hours and 45 minutes is 5 3/4 hours. So there are many ways to look at this. Most plausible answer being B if you could not remember all this, because it's less than 6. And it's more than 5. Because you ain't taking away 15 minutes. Cool. 38. Distance around a lake is 8 kilometers. On the map, this distance around the lake is represented by 2 cm. The scale on the map is. So if you look at it here, 2 centimeters come like 8 kilometers. Converting kilometers to meters, be 8 by 1,000. 1,000 meters make 1 kilometer. You get 8,000 meters. So 2 centimeters is 8,000 meters. But we ain't done there. You had to bring everything down to centimeters. Now, each meter is 100 cm. So this would be like 8,000 by 100, because every meter is 100 cm. So 8,000 meters will come like 8,000 by 100, which will give you 800,000 centimeters. So 2 centimeters is 800,000 centimeters. And why do I divide by 2? 2 into 2, 1, you get 1 cm, and 2 into 800,000 will be 400,000, because 2 into 8 is 4, and you have the zeros. So it's 1 cm to 400,000 cm. Come like 1 to 400,000. That's D as in dog. 39. Perimeter of a square is 56 cm. What's its area in cm squared? Well, perimeter of a square come like 4 times the length of one side, because all are equal. So if the perimeter is 56, the length of one side would be 56 divided by 4, because all of them are equal. And you get 14 cm. 56 divided by 4, you get 14. So the area of the square would be side by side, which is 14 by 14 to give you 196 cm squared. Cool. 40. Item 40 refers to the following diagram, not drawn to scale, of a cylinder radius 3 cm. You can see it, 3 cm. Height is 8 cm. Volume of the cylinder is what? And they have the answers in terms of pi. So volume of a cylinder class as pi by radius by height. So it's pi by 3, because 3 is the radius. Pi by 3 by a height of 8. 3 3s are 9, 9 8s are 72. So that'll be 72 pi cm cubed. C, right? So we've done 40 questions, class. 2/3 of the paper is done. And we are done with geometry. Yeah, we will now be going into another section in syllabus, statistics. Statistics. So items 41 to 42 refer to the following histogram, which shows the number of children aged 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 who took part in a survey. You all can see it here. Number of children versus age of the children in years. They're asking here, what was the modal age? Mode represents the value with the highest frequency. So which age had the highest number of children in the survey? You can see with 7, you had 5 children. So had 5 children with the age of 7 years. So 7 years would represent your modal value. Okay, it has the highest frequency of 5 children. So your modal value is 7 years. Let's see. How many children took part in the survey? Well, we're going to add them up. We had to add all of them up. We have 3 children, add 4 children, add 2 children, add 5 children, add 1 child. And you can see down here, 3 add 4 is 7, add 2 is 9, add 5 is 14, add 1 is 15 children took part in the survey. That's B as in bat. Good. 43. The following table, shows the frequency of scores obtained by students in a test. You can see the scores ranging from 2 to 10, and you can see the number of students for each. Range of scores is what? Well, class, range is your highest score minus your lowest score. That'll be 10 minus 2 to give you 8. So 8 children, or 8 students, I should say. Well, not students, sorry. 8 as in the score value. 8 represents the range of the scores, okay? From 2 to 10, 8. 44. If the mean of the 4 numbers, 4, 8, 2x, and 12 is 10, then x is what? Well, I had to do this down here. As you would understand, mean represents the total number divided by the number of items. Total number would be what? It'd be 4, add 8, add 2x, add 12. And you can see that down here. And you divide them by what? 4. 4 add 8 is 12. 12 add 12 is 24. Add 2x, all divided by 4, would give you a mean, and they say the mean is 10. So in a case like this, it's simple algebra. We could carry the 4 across. Opposite of divide is multiply. So 10 by 4 is 40. That's equal to 24 at 2x. Let's carry the 24 across. It'll become minus 24. So 40 minus 24 will be equal to 2x. 40 minus 24 is 16. And 16 will be equal to 2x. Now from there, we know 2x come like 2 multiplied by x. So to get rid of the 2, opposite multiplies divide. So you divide 16 by 2 to get 8. So A is your answer, x is 8. Now 45, this box is blocking the multiple choice answers, but at least I could work out and give you the answer without having to really move this box. 45. Of 120 students writing an exam, 100 are expected to pass. The estimated probability that a randomly selected student would fail is what? Well, if 100 are expected to pass, 100 from 120, because that's the total amount of students, we get 20 students, and that is the possible number of students who could fail. Probability would be the number of possible or number of outcomes over total possible outcomes, right? So the number of outcomes of the event occurring is 20 students over total possible outcomes of 120. So it's 20 over 120, and we just cross out our zeros. 2 into 2, 1, and 2 into 12 is what? 6. So it's 1 on 6 is your answer. So we are done with statistics and we are moving on into functions and relations and graphs. See, which of the following diagrams best illustrates a function? Now, I want to say here, a function could be either a one-to-one mapping where one input goes to only one output, or it could be a many-to-one mapping. Many-to-one is when several inputs go to only one output. Either mapping could work one-to-one or many-to-one. In this case, you could see this is not the answer because it's one-to-many. All right, that's not a function. This is also not a function, one-to-many, one-to-many. So obviously it's D, and we can see why. Besides process of elimination where the rest are wrong, D is correct because it is one-to-one. 47 refers to the following graph of a straight line. You can see it here. Straight line AB cuts the y-axis at what? Well, AB cuts the y-axis at -2. So that's called your y-intercept, by the way. It'll be 0, comma, -2. Yeah? 0, comma, -2 will be your y-intercept there. That's D as in dog. 48. H of x is 3x minus 2 over 5. What's h of -6? Very easy. All we do is substitute x with -6. So it will be what? It will be 3 by -6 minus 2 over 5. 3 by -6 is -18. And -18 minus 2 would give you -20 over 5. Now, in case you're wondering, so how we get -20? Well, -18 minus 2. And if I just show this fast, -18 minus 2. The rule is that when the signs are the same, because both of them are minuses, you add the two numbers. What is 18 add 2? 20. You add the two numbers and you put the sign in front. So you get -20. You add the two numbers and you put the sign in front. That's a rule. So you get -20 and you divide them by 5. 5 into 20 is 4, and you add the minus. So you get -4. That's 8. 49, and that refers to our number line as shown below with our inequality solution. So the inequality above is defined by what? Well, I want to see here, you can see the values of x between -2 and 3. But when you have a clear circle on both ends, like in this case, you will not have any of these signs in there. So you know you'll have x is less than 3. So immediately that make B and C wrong. And then on this side, you see x is more than -2. In other words, -2 would be less than x, while x is less than 3. Okay? So there's none of these signs when you have the two clear circles. So D is your answer. 50 refers to the following graph of a function. Not that visible, but I'll just tell you all it's a quadratic curve. Y equals 4x minus x squared. Values of x for which y equals 4x minus x squared intersects y equals 0 are. Y equals 0 is your x-axis. And to be fair, the curve, if I could even see my cursor, intersects the x-axis at 2 points. That's at 0 and 4. At 0 and 4. Again, y equals 0 is the x-axis. And the 2 points, the curve cuts the x-axis at 0 and 4. At x equals 0 and x equals 4. Item 51 refers to the following arrow. Never, sorry, which shows a function. So you can see we've done 50 questions so far. Which of the following best describes the function? Well, you all can see if I add 3 to 2, I get 5. If I add 3 to 5, I get 8. If I add 3 to 8, I get 11. If I add 3 to 11, I get 14. So every value of x, which are your input values, the output is 3 times added on. Or, well, 3 added on. Not 3 times, 3 added on. So x plus 3 will give me y. Whatever value of x you have, when you add 3, you'll get y. So your answer is f of x is x plus 3. Your output is 3 added on to x, which is the input. So whatever values of x you put in, the outputs are the input with 3 added on to it, which I just showed. So it's x plus 3. So D as in dog. 52. If each exterior angle of a regular polygon is 60 degrees, and the polygon is a what? Now, I took some time into doing this. So I did a drawing as well. And I want to say a regular polygon will mean that all sides are equal and each interior angle is the same. And by extension, every exterior angle will also be the same. Interior, exterior. Just continue that 180-degree line. This would be exterior angle. And it's in the exterior is 60. So what can we do? One way of doing it, other than, I showed 2 ways, but because of time, I will look at the easy approach here. I want to say here with regular polygons that the sum of the exterior angles is 360 degrees. 360 degrees will be the sum of the exterior angles for a regular polygon. So what I'm going to do is just divide 360 degrees by 60, which is the size of each exterior angle. I divide 360 by 60 and I'll get 6, showing that the polygon has 6 sides, which will make it a hexagon. Let's see. 53 refers to the following diagram of a pair of intersecting lines. You all can see it. The measure of angle ABE is, well, ABE, the middle letter suggests where the angle is at. which is here. We know a straight line has 180 degrees. So this angle will be 180 minus the 58 to give you 122 degrees. That is B as in bat. Item 54 refers to the following diagram of isosceles triangle. Now, isosceles triangle would just mean that the two angles, in this case below, are equal. So you see how here it's 30? Here will also be 30, yeah? So guess what? 30 add x would give me 180 degrees, because 180 degrees make up a triangle. 30 add 30 is 60. 60 add x will be 180. And carry 60 across. You know, it will be obviously subtracted when it go across. 180 minus 60 will give you 120 degrees. Okay, again, 30 at 30 is 60. 60 plus x is 180. And when you carry it across, it'll be 180 minus 60 to give you 120 degrees. Let's see. Item 55 refers to the following diagram of the straight line y equal x, which is this. So what is the image of the line y equal x when it is rotated anti-clockwise about origin O, or about O, through an angle of 90 degrees? So what I did, I decided to do it for you all. You rotate this line 90 degrees anti-clockwise, which is this way, and you'll get this line here. And this line will be what? Essentially, this line will be y equal minus x. All right, y equal minus x. It is the reflection of this line about the y-axis, in case you didn't realize that. All right, so this is your line y equal minus x. All right, so for positive values of y, it will correspond with negative values of x, right? Y equal minus x. That's D as in dog. 56. First to the following pair of similar triangles. You all can see it. Similar triangles mean the angles are the same, and that the sides will differ by a ratio value. The length of MO in centimeters is what? Well, I want to see here. MN is half of AB, right? Half of 6 is 3. So going on that premise, we will also have to find half of 7, yeah? Because to keep the similarity going, what's half of 7? 3.5, yeah? Let's see. $57 for the following right angle triangle ABC. In the triangle not drawn to scale, angle BAC is 30 degrees. You can see it here, BAC 30. AB is 40 meters. Length BC in meters is what? Well, if you're 1 BC, we can say sine 30 degrees, which is opposite of hypotenuse, by the way. Opposite will be what? BC over, what's the hypotenuse? 40. So sine 30 will be BC over 40. And if you want to get BC, carry the 40 across. Opposite of divide is what? Multiply. So you will get 40, but it's being divided here, right? Opposite of divide is multiply. It'll be 40 sine 30 will be BC. That's E. 58. Refer to the following right angle triangle. In the triangle ABC, not drawn to scale, AB is 17 cm, AC is 15 cm, and BC is X. Value of X in cm is what? So we could use Pythagoras theorem because it's a right angle triangle. C squared is E squared plus B squared, where C is the hypotenuse. That'll be 17 cm, because the hypotenuse faces the right angle. So it'd be 17 squared equal to what? 15 squared add x squared. 17 by 17, 289. 15 by 15, 225. Plus x squared. What? Carry the 225 across. 289 minus 225 will be 64. So it'll be 64 equal x squared. Opposite of square is square root. So x will be the square root of 64, which is 8 cm. B as in bat. $59. In a triangle PQR, angle P is x degrees and angle Q is 2x degrees. What is the size of angle R? Well, we know the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180. So it'll be what? X add 2x plus the angle R. I'll call R for now. So x plus 2x add R will give you 180. X plus 2x is 3x plus R. So 180 is that. Carry the 3x across. Opposite of R is what? Subtract. So it'll be 180 minus 3x will give you R. D as in dog. Item 60 refer to the following diagram. Last one today of a building. Surveyor sets up his instruments 12 meters from the foot of the building and records the angle of elevation of the top of the building. So the angle elevation is 40 degrees to the top of the building. Estimate the height of the building by calculating what. So we want the height of the building. Let's call the full height H. And we could call here Y. And we have 1.6 meters as the height of the stand. So let's work out Y first, right? So I can say tan 40 degrees is opposite over adjacent. That'll be Y is the opposite and the adjacent is what? 12. Right? You can see 12, right? So tan 40 will be what? Y over 12. And the carrying the 12 across, opposite divide is multiply. Y will be what? 12 by tan 40 degrees. Now the height of the building is Y added on to 1.6. So see H is Y plus 1.6. And what is Y? 12 tan 40 degrees. So it'll be 12 tan 40 plus 1.6. And that is D as in dog. So you all could see here, students, that we were able to finish this paper. This is, again, May, June 2017.